good people of the internet. We're going to be playing Wolfenstein 2009. This is a game I have... yeah. I haven't played... God, probably since like 2009. Skip that. This was a game that originally appeared on consoles at the time as well. Pretty sure PS3. Yeah, it would have been PS3. And Xbox. Actually 360 at the time. I don't remember much about it though, because I only played a very small part of it. I remember it has some really interesting sort of... Need to change something. Need to change those controls a little bit. That's better. This is actually made by Raven, of all people. I was never a fan of Return of Castle Wolfenstein. I'm not sure why. I just couldn't really get into that game. I did enjoy the Wolfenstein, the New Order. That was quite a fun game. A lot of people, it was quite... I found it was quite a divisive game though. So a lot of people didn't actually like that game, if they were big fans of the original game. Which I was not. Yes.
Listen, you don't have long. There are Nazis fanning out through the station. Somehow they know about
yes, I'll take that.
But we can't leave yet. Turns out we've been handed an opportunity. A special operations train carrying experimental weapons is sitting at platform 1. I hear you're up for a little diversion, so grab some weapons from this table and fall in. Oh, once you're in town you can get more ammo and upgrades at the black market. Good, my friend. Now come. The special operations train won't wait long.
Good, my friend. Ooh. I know there was sort of a real emphasis on pickups and stuff. Not looking very hard, are they? Oh shit. It has quite a delay on it. I didn't kill any of them. Switched it. Oh crap. Oh, can't vault over things. That's unfortunate. Now, I recall there was... This one had a much more supernatural element to it than previous Wolfenstein games I've played. I can't remember entirely what leads up to that, but this was sort of a weird time in games. Like, there was a game that came out around the same time called Singularity, which was also made by Raven, actually, which had sort of, I suppose we could think like similar gameplay elements, like, you know, your sort of special forces soldier, and you encounter some experiments gone wrong and all sorts of shenanigans happening. But that was sort of a, like, alternative history game too. Interesting, this very sort of consoleized shooter, which I don't much like. I don't like a lot of consoleized shooters because it seems to sort of take away from the real fun that can be had when games have to be dumbed down for the console market, unfortunately. Alright, what do we got? Intel. What is the Intel? So I said pick up Intel. I'm not sure. Okay, let's continue on that merry way. And like, oh, no, nothing there. Okay. And this is very much like the time when games were grenades, when games were doing the whole checkpoint system as opposed to save anywhere. I suspect no, I can't save. Yeah, which I don't much like in my first-person shooters, because first-person shooters on PC, they're supposed to be provide a greater sense of freedom, more optimized. You can do. Okay, I can't go that way. Where do we go? Oh, I can check it. Oh, look at that. Okay. No. Okay. Must be something I have to open.
BJ, you must hurry if you want to rob that train.
Oh, here we go.
Let's see how you fared demolitions, BJ. Destroy that locked door.
Cool. No, nothing. Okay. Okay. Run away! Now, if any of you decide to watch my videos with any, or watch these videos with any sort of regularity, I'm not one of those. Oh, cool. I'm not going to be one of those dickheads who screams or the most like. I really don't like those gamers or those YouTubers who film themselves gaming, but then scream like little bitches over something scary happening. It's like, dude, come on, I'm not four. Like, it's really annoying. Oh, that worked quite well. It's really annoying when you're trying to watch someone play a game that you are interested in, but then they just carry on like a dickhead because it's like, oh my god, it's so scary. There's a YouTuber called IGP specifically. Like, he has some very interesting games, but like, a lot of his sort of titles for his videos are pretty clickbaity. But the games can be interesting, but some of the games that he does play are a bit shit. But what can you do? And he has a couple of dudes that go on with him in some of his games, and I find their reactions to be really childish and really annoying. So that's why I don't like a lot of his videos. But some of his content is actually quite good, because he himself does play some pretty, outlandish and sort of indie games, but some of them are interesting. I think. Oh, another thing. Okay. No, nothing there. But yes, if you like this sort of this games from these eras, I would recommend checking out Singularity. There's another one, there was another game that sort of springs to mind. It was God. It's like I think it's like set in the Arctic and it's a first-person shooter. I can't remember what happens in it, but it sort of reminds you of this sort of similar style. It's a real shame I have to shoot Nazis, but I'd rather shoot communists. But here we are. Oh crap! Oh crap! Why didn't that go off? It was weird. Okay. My grenade seems to have just disappeared into the ether. Okay, that went nowhere. Yes, I gathered that there was a zoom button quite some time ago. As soon as I picked up a gun. Nothing. Oh. No. Okay, so we can't actually destroy anything here, but we can shoot things. Not a bad little physics engine. Not the best physics engine, mate. And like, I suppose, but what do you want every time, eh? Like, do you want to have a physics engine that everything can be broken, or do you want, objects can be thrown around? Maybe it's like sort of finding a good balance between the two of them. I'm not sure. I remember when I first played Max Payne 2, that game was incredible. I remember just what the hell? What the hell was that? That's the lifelike physics that was in Max Payne 2 was astounded to me. I was astounded at it back when it came out. I was like, wow, I've never seen such a thing before. This is, you know, back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. Ooh, there's a thing. Ooh, there we go. And I must say that Max Payne 2 was exponentially better than the first game, because the first game was sort of bogged down by some really stupid shit, unfortunately. But still a fun game in its own right, but not a perfect game. And I never really got much into Max Payne 3, but I don't think it was at all a bad game either. I just didn't really get into. Oh shit! Oh. Okay, I'm not really sure about this. These grenades. Oh shit! Oh shit! Grenades going off everywhere. Oh bloody hell! Oh wow! Look at that. That's pretty. That's really cool. Okay. Okay. He's down. There we go. Oh, that's some pretty cool effect there. Okay. I better take out the troops. Okay. I will do so. I will do so immediately, sir. An MG42. Oh crap! Coming up there. Why is this? Oh, he's arming a bomb. I was like, why is this dude standing here being shot? That seems a bit silly. He's doing a thing. Run away from that. Oh shit! Get up there. Oh, I think this is. Oh, right. This is where the weird shit starts happening. I didn't think it was this early in the game. Wow. Okay. What happened to you, dude? What did you do? Oh, okay. Oh, I think it was like sort of a pseudo open world element to this as well. I can't remember. It's been so long since I played this. I can only really remember like bits and pieces of what actually happened. What else do we have to find here? I can do that. That's handy. There's a thing, and there appears to be. I'm actually really surprised how well this is holding up, especially for for a game on Windows 10. Okay, I have a limited sprint, obviously. That's unfortunate. I mean, it's very much a console sprint, though, isn't it? I mean, look at that. Anything to pick up around here? No. That's a shame. Alright. Oh dear. Oh shit. Oh, that's right. You get that thing on your wrist pretty quick. Oh, God damn it. You did? You are now. There we go. I see, it's... Anyone who's been playing a first-person shooter on the PC for a while now knows that R is reload. I mean, if we have to be told this shit is a bit patronising, but, Raven also made, the Heretic 2 game, if any of you are familiar with that game, which I was rather taken with many years ago. It was one of those games that I also had really high sort of praise for, but for one reason or another I never actually managed to finish it, which is a real shame, because it wasn't a bad game. I just never God, yeah, I must have been quite young, maybe 16, 17 when I played that game. And it wasn't until years later that I realised that it was actually a sequel to the first person games, which I never played. Oh, okay. You gotta reload this manually. That's really shit. Okay. Hearing some mobs. Something get thrown. Something was thrown at me. Oh, something aimed at stuff. Oh, shit. Okay, you're dead. Okay. So, oh,